Welcome back for another round of CPW science. Today we are going to compare data from two simple data presentations. Then we'll use new information to make a prediction based on a model. Then we'll select two or more pieces of data from a simple data presentation. Our fourth question will ask us to determine the experimental conditions that would produce specific results. And then we'll determine which simple hypothesis is or is not consistent with the data presentation and a piece of information from text. We know we're going to be successful if we can predict the results of a new experiment by analyzing the results of previous trials and models, if we can apply scientific vocabulary in order to determine the identity of an unknown variable, and then analyze information from text in order to predict experimental results. Our first question asks, suppose that in experiment 2, both species B and species C have been added to a larger test tube containing sucrose broth and to a large test tube containing lactose. Which of the following would most likely depict the results? Well, in experiment 1, we see that species B reacts with lactose as given by these plus signs, and species C reacts with sucrose. So if we put both of these species in the same test tube, we would have results with both types of broth. So C is the best answer for number 1. Question number 2 asks, suppose a scientist isolates a bacterial species that is one of the 4, A, B, C, or D, used in experiment 1. She adds the species to sucrose broth and observes that neither acid nor carbon dioxide are produced. So looking at the sucrose broth, we see that A doesn't produce anything, B doesn't produce anything, C does, so C's out, and D produces acid, so that's also out. Also, none is not one of our 4 options, so we're going to cross that guy out too. So we've just eliminated 3 possible answers from the first sentence. Because we still have 2 possibilities, we're going to go back to the passage. So then she adds the species to lactose broth and observes that both acid and CO2 are produced. So looking at our 2 options, acid and CO2 are produced for option B. That's our answer. So the best answer for number 2 is species B. And number 3, it says in experiment 1, which of the bacterial species fermented lactose? So we're going to have to go back to the summary of the passage, where fermentation means we're either producing carbon dioxide and acid, or we're going to produce acid. So either one of those options means we fermented something. So we're just going to be focusing on the lactose portion, and I'm looking for the plus signs. So B produces acid and carbon dioxide, so B is an option. And then going down to the next plus sign, that is for D. So our best answer for question 3 is C. And number 4 says, which of the following figures best illustrates the results of experiment 1 for species D in the sucrose broth? So species D, we're only looking at the sucrose side, and it looks like we're good on acid, but no CO2. So what I'll be looking for is a yellow color in the solution, and because I don't have CO2, I'm not going to have any bubble. And I know that I'm going to have a yellow solution because I had to go back to the summary where it talks about the pH indicator, and it's yellow if the pH is under 7, which means that it'd be acidic. So my 2 acidic options are B and C because those are both yellow. But because no CO2 is produced, there's no gas bubble, so that means B is my best answer. Our last question asks, is the hypothesis that species A and species C acted synergistically supported by the results of experiment 2? So synergism, as a reminder, because we haven't seen that word the whole 4 questions before this, occurs when 2 bacterial species act together to ferment a sugar by using a pathway that neither species can use alone. So what that means is that if you combine 2 species, it'll react no matter what because one species will make up for the other one. So looking at A and C, it reacts in sucrose, but it does not react in lactose. This means that these 2 species do not act synergistically. So that means one of our options A and B are out. So, but looking at the justifications for each no, only D fits what's happening. So because neither acid nor CO2 is produced from lactose. All right, this is our last science CPW before the ACT. Good luck, have fun, and have a great rest of your year.